Hey, y'all. It's your girl, Marisa Star TV, and we are back with another reaction and commentary video. Today, we're going to be talking about one of the most infamous tragic mulattoes that ever hit the music scene. And I must say, that my inner 9-year-old really weeps because I think KEKE WYATT, yes, the KEKE WYATT, my first love, KEKE WYATT, yes, her. My inner 9-year-old really weeps because, her voice has been a staple as somebody who is an R&B head. However, since R&B divas, matter of fact, even before then, since the first husband and the stabbing and all of the things, KEKE WYATT has become quite the case study, especially in terms of being the textbook definition of the tragic mulatto. But I do have to admit that my inner 9-year-old weeps because I am a KEKE WYATT fan. But child, sometimes you got to call a spade when it comes to the blatant mental illness, the blatant racism and texturism. I think it's her time. It is her time. So now, as of late, husband number, oh, child, which one we on now? 4, 3, 4, 3 or 4? Husband number 3 or 4 has come up here and exposed some facts about Miss Kiki that are not shocking. Because like I said, the blatant mental illness that she obviously refuses to address, I think it runs rampant. It's impacted her children. It's impacted herself. But I think we need to know where it started from. So let's get into that. Let's get into some of the history and why Miss Kiki is quite the infamous tragic mulatto.
R&B singer Keke Wyatt. In 2001, at age 18, she married her former road manager Ramat Morton. Together, they had 4 children, then divorced in 2009. In 2010, she married Michael Ford, an ordained minister. Together, they have 5 children, and divorced in 2017. In 2018, she married Zachariah Daring. They have 2 children together, one of which was born with trisomy 13 syndrome. She said, "He's my miracle baby." They divorced in 2024. R&B singer Kiki.
Okay. Count the men, tally up the children. Did I forget to mention she's somebody who is obsessed with being pregnant? Yeah, I forgot to mention that. So mental illness, I guess you want to call her a serial monogamist, doesn't take time to heal, doesn't deal with her own issues, constantly blames other people. But I think it all stems from the upbringing. So we had baby number 11. Okay, cool. Let's get into some of the history with the upbringing. Being raised by a Caucasian mother and being of Black lineage, I hear it's not easy, but everybody who is biracial doesn't turn into a tragic mulatto. But somehow Kiki has managed to be quite the tragic mulatto. Okay, did we catch that? So she grew up with a white mother that called her a racial slur. Okay, all right. Skipping on down. We just going down memory lane. Y'all stick with me now. Stick with me.
pro-black, and it's okay to be pro-black.
Well, if you're not even letting me
Power
talk,
to
so I
the
don't
black
even
people.
understand where you, because I feel like you're being sarcastic.
I'm
and
not
just trying
being sarcastic.
So can you let me talk?
You have to understand, black people are not the only people that have been oppressed.
So if you would let me talk, that would be
ones.
Does this sound familiar? All the tragic mulattoes, do y'all read from the same handbook, or how does that work?
Jewish people have been oppressed. Okay? Well, I can keep going. I'm biracial, damn it. We oppressed because black people that made us feel like white people make us feel like you don't know that life. You don't know that. So if you want me to be an ignorant, I will tonight. I don't want to go there.
I'm not sure. I think you're
a cool dude, but I think you need to understand, sugar, that there is more to life than just being, because you are so pro-black in this
world. In reality, black people have been, segregated, persecuted, hunted down, killed, stolen from, humiliated. Can you let me finish? Because you won't let me finish. When you talk, I have been.
Why is it that the tragic mulattoes with the white mothers are often so combative with black people? Why is it always the black person's fault that you feel confused, or you feel oppressed, or you suffer the struggles of being a biracial black and white person in America? Why is it always the black people that get the blame? If you say black people oppress you and white people oppress you, why is it always so much smoke for the black people? That's confusing to me.
Nothing but quiet and respectful. I have been nothing but quiet and respectful to you. I have been nothing but quiet and respectful to you. So can you let me talk? I don't understand.
Okay, pro-black. All right, praise God. Go ahead, sweet sugars. I'm not all right, because I understand, we biracial.
But that might play into the mental health. Marriage number one, not a lot of footage because during that time, YouTube was just becoming a thing. But there was a lot of publicity about marriage number two to Michael Ford. That is the one that she was on R&B Divas with, the long-suffering husband, Michael Ford, father to 5 of 11. Okay? Stick with me. Father to 5 of 11. Okay? So her and Michael Ford, they were on R&B Divas, and we would see her basically berate him, guilt trip him, basically turn Michael into her little whipping boy, her do boy, her yes man. That's basically the extent of their relationship. Her crazy antics, and him always trying to talk her down. Okay, boom. Fast forward to her being pregnant with their last child together. Michael said enough is enough. He got tired of the craziness, and it's time to roll on. But let me go back to marriage number one. Marriage number one resulted in her attempting to assault the man with a sharp object, ending up in jail. I'm not sure if I don't think she was ever convicted of it, but that was a big thing. But like I said, YouTube and social media as it is today wasn't a thing. So not a lot of footage. It was more so in magazines, sister to sister, things like that. But Michael Jamar, let's get into Michael Ford. That was husband on paper number 2. And when he decided that he couldn't deal with the crazy no more.
Longer allow our children to live in a toxic environment, and because I love Kiki, I can no longer accept toxic behavior. A home should be a refuge of peace from the inequity and harshness of the world. Kiki is much stronger than she gives herself credit for, and she is a great mother. There is a healing that needs to take place, and I have the faith that it will happen. There is never a good time for a family to deal with harsh realities, but as long as we keep God first, we have to know that our battle has already been won. Now, as our family deals with these realities, I humbly ask that you please keep us lifted in prayer, and when you comment, please keep our children in mind. Okay, so I'm glad that Kiki's husband actually spoke up about this, because he was looking really bad in these streets. And I know one of my commenters on my last video was like, why are we so quick to blame the man? and not consider both sides. Well, he's telling us his side, and basically he can no longer emotionally handle being Kiki's husband. And a lot of people, they did point out the fact that Kiki would oftentimes berate her husband and push him around a bit. However, I do think that him divorcing her at this time is probably not the best time to do so. But once again, we don't know.
With somebody like Kiki, I don't think there will ever be a best time. And then, like I said, she has an obsession with being pregnant and having children. I don't know if it's the Peach McIntyre syndrome. If I tie him down with enough kids, he ain't going nowhere. Or it's just the fascination with having a baby by every person you lay down with or want to build a life with, or what that mental piece is. But we know that is a mental piece because most functional, thriving adults realize that having 11 children is not something that's reasonable, especially when you can't keep a man. But not Miss Kiki, honey.
What goes on in their household. All we can do is just pray and hope that everything works out for them both. And Kiki, she is a strong woman, okay? She dealt with abuse in her first marriage, and she talked about how her ex-husband almost choked her to death, and she had to stab him just to save her life. So Kiki has been through a lot. So I do believe that she can definitely get through this.
The fact that I have to deal with this on a daily basis,
and I have to deal with this on a daily basis.
I was not. Why do you always say booty popping? God, we were dancing. It wasn't
like, yes, girl. He was like, oh,
baby. You should see her husband and Kiki making faces at each other when she sings If Only You Knew. Oh my God.
Now, did I mention the tragic mulatto that is Keke Wyatt can sing her face off indeed? Let's not take away from that fact that the talent is there, but the mental health and decision-making, critical thinking skills, the stability, not there. The voice, okay? The voice is there. We're not going to take that away from Miss Kiki. Oh, Kiki. Oh, Kiki. Okay, so that was the other marriage. Now let's get into some of the things that she shared, some of the things that he shared. And then we're going to move on to the most recent ex-husband / baby daddy and what he is sharing present day.
When you 8 months pregnant and you got a child sick in and out of the hospital, and your husband got the nerve to tell you that he wants a divorce because he says that you're an emotional wreck. He says that from the very beginning you never trusted me and all that kind of stuff. Like, yeah, telling other women that we get a divorce and don't, if she calls her, it's like, what? Like, I am so done with Michael Jamar. Y'all can have him and roast his ass. I don't care.
All right, you guys, I'm sorry. I know that was a long clip, but some people had never seen it, so I have to give you guys the background and understand what Keke Wyatt was talking about when she said that her ex-husband did her dirty when she was 8 months pregnant. He asked for the divorce while she was 8 months pregnant and while she was dealing with her son battling cancer. Okay, so anybody who has been following Keke Wyatt, you know that Keke Wyatt and Michael Jamar had a very toxic relationship on both ends. I'm not taking up for Michael Jamar, but I'm just speaking facts. Keke Wyatt is a very, very different person. She has a very strong personality. She is very emotional, whether she's pregnant, whether her son has cancer or not. And I'm not trying to be mean, I'm just calling it like I see it. In my opinion, she has always appeared to be a very emotional, overbearing person. Keke Wyatt and Michael Jamar were on marriage boot camp, and y'all, it was just a mess. If you want to know what I'm talking about, just YouTube it. Keke Wyatt marriage boot camp, and you'll see what I'm talking about. But listen, y'all, before she even ever got with Michael Jamar, she already had 4 children from her first marriage, which was very toxic and abusive. She tried to kill her ex-husband, y'all, her first husband. That's a whole another story. Google it. I'm not getting into it. But all I'm saying is she had 4 children by her first husband. Then she had 5 more with Michael Jamar. That's a total of 9 children. And now she got a new husband. I wonder if she's going to have kids with him. If she do, Lord have mercy, that's going to be a lot of kids. And
okay. Need we say more? So let's come on, fast forward to present day. Mr. Zachariah Daring, husband number 3, father to last 2. So y'all know Kiki's last pregnancy, she was informed. Now, first of all, Kiki is, how old is Keke Wyatt now? You know, there comes a certain point in time where you got to hang up the good old ovaries and uterus, baby. It comes a point in time. So Kiki is 42. So a few years ago, she decided to have a baby very early on in the marriage and then have another one. So the last one by husband number 3. I'm sorry, y'all, it's a lot of numbers. So number 11 by number 3. She got 11 by 3, I think. It might be 4. But 11 by 3, husband number 3. The last baby, the doctors let her know that the baby was going to have needs. He has trisomy, one of the trisomies that result in, not being compatible with a long and healthy life. But she already knew that. She decided to go through with the pregnancy, even though she was a geriatric pregnancy. She has all these otherwise healthy children. But like I said, the obsession with pregnancy, bringing kids to the world by every man that she decides she wants to be with is a thing with Miss Kiki. So boom, they have the 2 kids together. They recently separated, got a divorce after the reality show where we saw that Kiki, not much has changed as far as the mental health, still very erratic, still very irrational, still very abusive, still very just problematic. And then we saw, once again, how problematic her mother is as well. The grandchild, one of Kiki's oldest children, revealed that his grandma is a racist. His grandma is homophobic. She doesn't like gay people, doesn't really care for black people, only cares for black meat. Have we heard this story before? Nothing new there. But let's get into what husband number 3 has recently came out and said about Miss Kiki.
Hey, you guys. I'm sorry I had to come back on here because the video ended and I accidentally cut it off. And but I wanted to come back on here and finish what I was saying. And so I want to tell you guys that I haven't been able to see my children for over a year. I was only able to see my son. I left, again, as I was stating in my testimony, I left in November the 4th, 2023, November the 4th or so, 2023. And I did not see my son, Kiriah, until the end of June, which was the divorce court.
Oh, did we mention that Michael Jamar said the same thing? Mind you, they have 5 children together. So last husband said the same thing, that he had to take her to court in order to see his kids. So what Kiki would do, impregnate herself. It's the men impregnate her. I don't know why y'all are so attracted to a crazy bitch. Mind you, she only deals with black men for whatever reason, even though she clearly has a disdain for black people as a whole. But once again, have we heard this story before? She likes to deal with black men, and for some reason, they like to deal with her, even though at this point, her crazy is well documented. Well documented. So Michael Jamar Ford came up here and said the same thing. He had to drag her to court in order to see his 5. Now we're hearing the same thing. So, okay, you get pregnant, you have the kids, but once you're done with the man, you take the kids and put them on to another man. And then they're not supposed to be in contact with their actual father. Okay.
Or me and Keke Wyatt, where we would have the divorce finalized. And I wasn't able to talk to him and see my kids. It was impossible for me to call her because I refused contact with her because of the maniac. Her maniac ways, the demonic, the belittling, the verbal abuse that's done for life, as I stated. And so at this particular time, I wasn't able to talk to them anyway because her and her cousin were living together.
Okay, so this is the piece that's been throwing everybody for a loop. Cousin?
I'll call it allegedly or whatever you want to say. November the 3rd, I'm sorry, the 4th or so after I left, 3 weeks later, Larry was living there in the house. She had moved Larry in, which is her cousin, Larry Weathers. And he was married, still married to his wife, Ebony Weathers. That's these guys. Okay. And I'll put that picture back up here in a minute. But forgive me, my camera is over here. So if I'm looking over here, it's just better for me. The way I have my camera, you got a bigger picture, but I'm looking at myself. But the camera's over here, so don't pay any attention to that. So anyway, I was not able to, when I left and I had to leave for the last time, as I expressed, my oldest son was bumping into me. She had confronted my oldest son, I was the stepfather, his stepfather, for stealing her money. And he had been taking out over $100 a day, and she allowed it to go on for about 7 days. And so he had racked up over $1,000 he had taken from her out of the ATM. He was taking $100 out of the ATM, plus him and his girlfriend Takaya were spending $250 to $300 every other day. The expenses were every other day was like $300, $250 was racking up every 2 days of them going out to eat, going to different places, to fun places and stuff, and ordering stuff off Amazon. My second older son, again, was the stepfather. That's why I'm talking like this. He had recently, I don't know, 5 or 6 months prior, put the card, his mother's debit card, Kiki's debit card, on his older brother's phone. Raja has had her debit card since he was 14 years old. She allowed him, when Michael Jamar, her ex-husband, left, Raja, she got him a card from the bank, another debit card, his own card. And at 14 had him paying the rent, the lease, the mortgage or whatever, the house, and paying bills. And so he would take her card and he'd buy and do whatever he wanted to. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, he ate whatever he wanted to eat, steak, lobster, shrimp, it don't matter what, he got whatever he wanted. And in my time being there over 5.5 years, it's sometimes 5 or 6 boxes coming every day. Sometimes it was 2, but it was something coming almost every day from Amazon, this thing, like from Raja, with her money. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. She allowed it, and that's her business. I had no say so. And she was raising the older children, raising monsters because they were spoiled. And so sometimes she would not give the children money. And Bean did not have her card for all these years. He recently, before I left in 2023, November 2023, again, as I stated, his younger brother, Raja, who had the card since he was 14, he had it put on his Apple phone, on the iPhone, to where he could, buy stuff. He had the card on his phone. So it was the same thing as having a physical card. That recently had happened, just before I left. So Raja was doing whatever he wanted. He went through like 13 cars in 2 months' time, lying, fake pay stubs, and all this stuff to get it done, to get the vehicles, and doing all this mess, getting checks from CarMax, and all this foolishness that they could, they knew it would put him in prison, put him in jail. Fraud. And so I couldn't say anything about this. I knew all along. She was so ignorant. He'll tell her mom, deposit this check from me, from CarMax or whatever. Oh, okay. How did you get this? Dummy. God forgive me, just ignorant. And so with all that being said.
So I noticed a couple things that Zackariah and husband number 2, Michael, have in common. They're both supposedly godly men. They're both kind of soft-spoken and men that she probably perceived that she can kind of trample over. So that's the things that they have in common. There's kind of a theme there. Another thing I noticed with Michael, once she got with Zackariah, you could tell when somebody is done, because I don't think there was any contention there. Because, usually when there's still love there'll be a little friction when you move on so fast with somebody else. There was none. I don't think there was any. I don't remember hearing of any. But basically what he's talking about basically is Kiki's children are out of control because of the instability, the emotional wreck. They probably guilt trip her because of all the things they have been through. And she feels like the only way she can make it up to them is just basically letting them walk all over her.
Raja. And so she brought me into questioning for taking her money that day that I had to leave and stealing her money. He began to lie. He lied even on my older sister, saying that he had to get edibles and he had to send all this stuff to Arizona, and he had to send all these things and whatnot, lying on her that this is where the money was going to. And it was him and Takaya ordering stuff off the internet, clothes, you name it, going out to eat, spending it, different spots, fun spots that they're going to, and without saying anything to her. And so, oh, I'm sorry, Mom. She said, well, then why were you, if you spend it $200-$300 a day, you and Takaya, why are you taking out $100 a day? Oh, well, I was just taking it out because I didn't want you to be mad. I didn't want to take out too much. It was just a bunch of mess. And so Raja ended up coming in the room. And so he's coming in the room to so-called take up for his older brother. And because Raja was his mother, she looked at him like that was her God. And that's why she allowed him, all the children knew, to do whatever he wanted to do. You know, he didn't have to, Raja, the older children, they didn't have to respect nobody but Kiki, their mother. She'll jump on them. She'll put her hands on them, slap them, beat them down, you know, whatever. But anybody else saying anything to her kids, the thought was, you know, she'll kill them. She'll take them out. You know, I'll kill you for messing with my children. For if you say one word to my kids, you know, her children were her God.
Can you imagine living in a household with unruly kids and you're not allowed to open your mouth, even though you're supposed to be the so-called authoritative figure in the house, and everybody just running amok? You can't say nothing.
But Raja was her God. And so she allowed him to just do what, and so she created a monster. Plenty of times, there's this particular story, my oldest son was with Mimi, and they were in the Suburban, and he always was involved with road rage. He hated most human beings, people. He didn't like people. And the only people he liked was someone that would kiss his behind. And I was always kissing behind. I kissed all my children behind. It wasn't fake. It was love. But you get sick and tired. You know, I love my children. I look past them being spoiled and them having these monstrous characteristics. But she caused it by the way she raised them. She raised them to not have to respect anybody but her and everything like that. One particular occasion, my kids came home and told my oldest son, Mimi, they were probably afraid. Raja, there was a lady he was following. She didn't get out of the way quick enough. He was trying to bully her he had a big old Suburban that belonged, my wife, her Suburban. And he followed the woman home and did donuts in her yard, in her flower bed, and tore up her whole yard. And the children were worried, Mimi and Bean, anyone could have came out with a firearm and laid them down, you know, out of the house. It could have been deadly. And stuff like this happened, calling women in Kroger's, in different places, the B word, the BITCH word, 40-year-old black women, 50-year-old black women, you know, and she could have had a son in the parking lot. She could have had a son in the store or anything, and it would have been over. Getting chased home on the freeway because he done pissed somebody off or did some type of road rage foolishness, and calling his mother, saying he had to call the police. He's afraid somebody's trying to follow him home, that they're going to try to kill him. Because he has done something foolish. He done flicked somebody off. He done did this and that. He's going over 100 miles an hour trying to get away from them now. So he would do stuff, but then be a coward and not be able to back it up and want somebody, put his mother and me or anybody else in jeopardy to have to defend him. And so this young man, you know, when I turned 21, I'm gonna get a gun. And we weren't mad at each other or anything at the time, but I remember it was just a little discussion. He said, yeah, Zach, you too big. I would have to shoot you. You know, I grew up around Detroit, Michigan. I lived in the suburbs, but every time I went out, somebody was getting killed. Individuals, 2 or 3 people getting shot to death. I've had people shot and killed standing 20 feet away from me. The bullets rang out. 15 shots from a 40 caliber handgun. I've been at the cabaret years ago where I was with friends and with the wrong crowd. You know, and a birthday party at a cabaret in Detroit, Michigan. And the bouncers put drug dealers out and they roughed them up, throwing them out. They went back to their cars, got sawed-off shotguns and AR-15s, and came back, shooting everybody, shooting the bouncers. And because I am a big guy, I look like a bouncer. I had to go run and dive into the coat closet and tell the doorman, lock it up before we get killed. because they would have killed me thinking that I was a bouncer. They were shooting all the security. My mouth closed because I didn't have a voice. Well, anyway, they left the room, and they went out there. Raja sat around the corner, but before he had left out the room, he called my sister fake, Maria, talking about I tried to talk to her. He tried to talk to his auntie, my older sister, and she was being fake. And so he lied on my sister, and then he said, I don't like being around any fake people. And so, which was referring to me that he didn't like being around. I'm in the room and I'm fake and everything. And so he left the room. Bean did, and his older brother did too. Well, he went out there and sat down. Bean went out over, like going over towards his place or his room or whatever. And Raja sat in the chair. Well, I came over there and started talking to Raja, and he was afraid because he had just called me fake. And he started bringing up, well, you restrained.
It sounds like a lot of the children have inherited some of Kiki's very toxic, mentally unstable ways. And if y'all don't know, I believe Raja is the one that was, he survived cancer. So his mother puts him on a pedestal because I think that was a very hard time for her, as it would be for any mother to go through that. But let's get into some of the behaviors that Kiki exhibited and see if we can see some parallels between the way her kids give it up and the way she gives it up.
To what I'm saying, I will put my hands on somebody. All of y'all, every last one of you.
Not mad at Nico, America, mad at me.
Thanks for making me cuss.
Don't talk to her.
Off.
Baby.
You.
Now you mad at me?
You. I'm sick of it.
Kiki has a problem with me.
Lack of self-control, inability to communicate like an adult, basically throwing tantrums. You way too old for that. You are way too old for that. Disrespecting people, other adults, disrespecting your so-called spouse is crazy.
I'm just mad because I lost.
Ooh.
That is not the truth.
Please go out. Go. Please. Please.
Inability to self-regulate. This stuff we see in like toddlers and children with special needs, people who suffer from mental health, things like that. But that was kind of a theme on reality TV for Kiki. That's why I say I don't think reality TV is really your thing, girl.
I didn't come here to cry. I didn't come here for all this emotional crap.
This is how it begins.
For all of that.
And we're trying to explain to you that I was not.
Nobody understands me. My children do, and they know that
So I don't understand you?
I don't know.
See what I'm saying?
Toddler-esque. It gives very much 3-year-old.
Kiki stabbed her ex-husband, so I was thinking about Mike. I'm like, hey, like,
Yeah, I was thinking,
you better keep her calm down.
you better keep her calm.
That's why every time she's calm down, calm down.
Kiki, look at what Michael's been through to stay with you. You don't think that man loves you unconditionally?
What do you think I've been through to stay with him?
True power comes from loving yourself first.
Yeah. It was a lot of crying, a lot of tears, a lot of arguments. And then, like I said, she recently had her new reality show. I think that was only a year ago, and it was the same thing. So, like I said, this has spanned over decades, and I think that's just Kiki. Until she decides that she wants to handle herself, her mental issues, and all of those things, it's not going to change. She disrespects people. She cussed out, what was that, her manager, who is a grown man, like, girl, so you can see why the kids would be out of control, right? Yeah. It's not confusing.
Every single time there's somebody from the past, from 10, 11, whatever, that
and they are in the past.
Exactly.
I don't want them in my now or my future. And I feel like if this is my, I should be able to control a name.
But that's the problem, control.
I don't know. No, it's not a problem.
Yes, there you go. It's
no, it's not. I don't want that mother name mentioned on my. That ain't control.
Well, what is it? Yeah, because I don't want to bring on the.
So as you can see, Kiki is very emotionally draining, and I think she takes a chunk out of anybody who decides to be in her life. So it's not far-fetched to think that her kids kind of absorb that energy, and that's how they give it up. So I believe everything that number 3 is saying.
Mom, I don't know if you'll restrain us or you're going to restrain me. I'm not there for that. I'm there. And so I could drop down $700 weekly. Oh, keep that. Don't say that for dinner tonight. Tip the waitress, because she'll tip the wait for you $500, $600, $350, $400. I'm not rich, okay, but I did have money coming in, and I didn't have to work. I had money coming in monthly, weekly. She didn't know about it, but I didn't know about hers. It's there for love and family, right? And so I'm with you. I'm like, cool, And so anytime the children needed money or something, they knew they could come to me. And where did I go? To the car. The only person I kept that from was Raja, because he loved money, And so, but I had a safe anyway in the whip, he couldn't have got in there, but whatever. Okay. And so, well, he had my keys. He could have, if he found it, or he knew, he could have, taken the safe and just tried to saw it off.
This man said things are so disorderly and unruly. He kept his money in a safe in his car, even though he lived in a whole mini mansion. Y'all know how the houses in Atlanta give it up. So like not quite a mansion, but just very nice houses, high ceilings, a bunch of rooms, a bunch of space. So as opposed to keeping his stuff in the sanctity of his household, it was so unruly in there. He was keeping his money in a car, in a safe. Like, damn.
Saws all open now. I don't know. Whatever. So, but Mimi and them knew, they knew every time I go to the car, I get the cash, let alone bank account. With all that being said, she put a gun on this boy, her son. And he's like, she jumped on me. She started hitting me and all this stuff like that. And I'm crying because she's ready to kill this boy, shoot him down. So anyway, she ends up putting him out the house. I ended up talking to her. I ended up going to get my son. He don't walk blocks and blocks away. I end up.
The same woman who stabbed her first husband pulled a deadly weapon on one of her children, all because she can't control herself emotionally. This is somebody who really needs to be institutionalized. She really needs to be on somebody's injection, somebody's pill, somebody's something, and she needs to have her womb forcibly sterilized. You don't need to have no more kids. No more. You need to let these kids, first of all, the adult kids, because I think 3 or 4 of them are technically adults, let them go and live their lives. They don't have to stay up under your roof. They don't have to be up under you as your emotional support. Let them go live their lives. Let them find their healing and stability from all the damage that you have caused. And then those younger ones, send them to go stay with their fathers. And you take about 5, maybe 10 years to get yourself together, because this is not going to end well for Kiki.
Having to go find my son. He done walked away from the house. And I'm crying and crying. And I bring him back to the house. And I said, baby, please, I'll take care of it, but don't do him like this. Yeah, my oldest son, because I loved all the children. Okay. That's the type of stuff that went on. So anyway, fast forward a few years later, he's going to the hotel gyms. I repetitiously lift 405, 5 and 6 times for reps. I can do 4 or 5 sets of those, and 15 times, and a max bench press of 500 pounds. But he's got the hotel weights, 25, 35 pounds, hotel weights, and he's a bad man now. In other words, young men filling their oats or what are filling themselves. And so anyway, fast forward back to the situation at hand, her having to get on him for taking her money. While I'm talking to Raja, Bean comes and starts bumping into me. And the reason why he was bumping into me is he's still upset because a month prior, I had to leave and leave the state, go to my sister's house because I had to tell my oldest son, Bean, stop following me around the house. He was upset, talking about why did I get into it with the nurse? I didn't get into it with the nurse. The nurse had given me her hand. I was asking her a question about the baby's medication. Nobody was there. Raja came on in at the end. He didn't even hear nothing. None of that. He just heard me and his mother arguing. her fussing, yelling at me, and then I started. What he didn't know, I was getting cussed out for an hour while I was at CVS. While I was gone, what's taking me so long? And all this trying to get Keziah's medication. Well, I come back home, and she is still cussing, and you didn't have to be gone all that long. And I'm sitting up there waiting at CVS to get his vital, very important, his medication he has to have. And so I asked the nurse, and the nurse gave me the hand. She's doing something or whatever. And I said, and I whispered to Kiki at the time, I said, you see that? And I just whispered, oh, she didn't do nothing. What you jumping on her for? To throw me up under the bus with the nurse. And then it's like I did something. And what I did at that point, I exposed her. I said, the way you disrespect me, cuss me out in front of these children, the nurses, the oldest kids don't have no respect for me. The nurses don't have no respect for me. The nurse has to use the bathroom. She's running all the way to the other side of the house and going upstairs if Kiki's getting her nails done to give her my youngest son, Keziah, versus giving me the baby, because the nurse they didn't have respect for me for how she treated me. She had no respect for me as her husband. None. And so it becomes a thing of how Miss Barbara, what did I do to Miss Barbara? Ain't did nothing. It wasn't even about her. I had whispered to Kiki and said, she gave me the hand. What, Barbara didn't do nothing. And that's how that got started. Okay? The oldest kid. And so Beans followed me around. I don't know if he had a crush on her or what. He liked Miss Barbara. And so he followed me around about, you're a deadly weapon. You got to be careful. You're a deadly weapon and you scare people. And like he going to do something. I finally told him. I was sitting down. He's hovering over me. I said, son, get away from me. Didn't your sister just beat you up 2 years ago, a year and a half ago? What do you think I'm going to do? Get away from me. Quit following me around.
So these kids cannot communicate effectively. They cannot deal with their emotions in proper ways. They seem enraged. They seem emotionally unstable. But where did they get that from? The mama. To the point where they're around there beating each other up.
Because I knew if I restrained him or I jumped on him, then Kiki is going to go run and get her gun or go get her knife. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to lay everybody down. No, no. And be like this. Behind prison walls, looking beyond like I'm a dummy. No. So I told him that, and his feelings got hurt. Okay. And so anyway, that's the reason why he bumped into me the last time that I had to leave. That's the reason why he was bumping into me. Okay. Because he had told me when I had came back even from my sister's house in front of his mother, he went to go sit. He didn't even know it, but I was inviting him out for breakfast. I was knocked on his window one day. It was early in the morning and he was taking the kids to school, and I knocked on his window. I came all around the house and it scared him. And I was invited, can I take you to breakfast? And he didn't even know, because I was going to confront him away from his mother. And son, we would have seen how bad you really were. Okay. But God don't want that. God didn't call me. I wasn't.
Y'all, I think we as a society really overlook the fact that being with the wrong person and in the wrong environments, even if you have the best of intentions and the best upbringing and you're a believer and your morals and values are in the right place, it's the environment and the people you surround yourself with can take you completely and totally out of your element. We see so many stories about people who were on the up and up and had the best of intentions, the best of goals, came from great backgrounds, ending up in prison for life or dead, deceased, laid underground because they put themselves in compromising positions dealing with the wrong people. Once you find yourself in this type of situation, I don't care how much you so-called love this person, because Kiki, when they first got together, exposed the fact that her and Zackariah had known each other since they were like children or teenagers or something. So this is not somebody she just met. They've been known each other. I don't care how much love you have for somebody. Never compromise your own sanity, safety, and freedom trying to deal with somebody. Let her be crazy in her own bubble, her and them kids. And he's still up here claiming them kids. Baby, please. It would have been to hell with you and to hell with these kids. Give me my two.
Allowed to be a daddy anyway. Okay, I was raised up. The children get their teeth knocked out of their mouth for the way I've seen these kids disrespect their parents and me and stuff like that. Listen, I'm never violent to the children, any of that. I kissed their behind. I was always kissing their behind, and it was sincere. I loved them. I was trying to teach them, that you're going to cease to exist if you get out here in the real world and you keep doing this. Somebody's going to get you. My
You can't teach somebody that when somebody is demonstrating something totally different. They've seen their mom be the way that she is their entire lives. So far be it from you to come in when somebody's a teenager, adolescent, an adult, and try to reteach them. It's too late. It's too late.
My younger daughter, Mimi, she's trying to fight people, grown women, 45-year-old black women at the mall, talking about she gonna beat their A and all, not knowing if that woman got a beat her up, got a knife in her purse, or let alone a firearm. And then I have to get a call about my younger daughter not there, ceased to exist. Okay. Well, shortly after she had whooped a bean and he fell on her and was holding it down, she was stopping the mess, kicking him, whatever. And Kiki had pulled a gun on. A couple years later, she was spitting in Kimar, my younger son. He recorded the video. She was spitting in his boy's face. Kimar sent the video to me. He showed me. I had it on my phone.
Girl, you around there putting hands on your kids, pulling deadly weapons on your kids, and then you spit in your own child's face. That's love? This is the same woman that was raised by a white woman that called her nigga like it was her name. Need we say more?
I kind of hinted at it, but I told him, I saw the video. I had it on my phone where she's spitting in this boy's face on the bus, calling him all type of BITCHs and all this stuff, spitting, flying in his face. Well, he walked away from and something she kept going on with it or whatever, bullying him. And somehow or another, he ended up turning around, her talking about he's scared and this and that. Anyway, he ended up beating her up. Listen, he broke her nose, he got the better of her, and he beat her up. And guess what happened? She was on the bus, unconscious, and we got a call. We were out of town for one of Kiki's shows. She was unconscious, not breathing. And Kiki's running around the hotel. She had a show, this is before a show, about to lose her mind, and calling Andre and all this on the phone, and everybody praying and everything and all this. I said, here I've humbled myself for 5.5 years, putting up with you and Raja with your disrespectful mouths. And here I humble, and he acting like he want to fight. He didn't want to fight me. He was trying to get me to provoke his mother. And I already knew what was going to happen. If I put my hands on that boy, she was going to run to the knife drawer. And I carry a filet mignon.
Child, what kind of family and household? Ooh-wee. And just for record's sake, this is a big ass man. Let me see if I can pull him up. This motherfucker, he next level big. He not somebody I would personally want to get in a physical altercation with. He's huge. Okay, just for context purposes, he's big. I'm not fighting you, sir. Excuse me? Huh? Yeah, no, absolutely not. So yeah, I can see that going completely and totally left. See, that's the level of restraint you need to have, though, as a big, gigantic motherfucker. You can't just go around fighting people. I don't care who it is, because you a big, gigantic motherfucker. So much respect on that for having that level of self-control.
And it wasn't going. We're not going there. We're not. You're not going to stab me, Miss Kiki. You're not going to kill me. I had thrown her gun clip away a month ago before that happened because I saw something coming. I said, "You're not going to shoot me." Yeah, I've had the gun, like I expressed, waved at me 45, 50 times. She be calling me bees, broke this, broke that. I'm the one carrying all her bags through the airport, 80 pounds. You know, it seemed like 100 pounds. What? I'm carrying all her luggage by hand. I'm a strong dude. Okay, all through the airport. It don't matter how long. I didn't need a card. Okay, suitcase, you name it. Okay, and our driver, she said, "You're not my security, man. You're not my security." That's why I wore what I wore. Thank them. All people talking about black. I was depressed. Tank top, a knockout drag out outfit. In other words, when the police, when I went to shows, they like, "Why are we here?" They would laugh at me. Like, you dude as big as you are, why are we need the police? You know, I am just like my brother, a world-class wrestler. I'm not the one. Not the one. All this bully stuff and all this stuff. And so anyway, dang. I ended up cussing, going off, and I really wanted to teach them a lesson, but I have to go on. Raja called the police. He calls the police right then and there with his arrogant self, his coward self, talking about that I got guns. I'm have them in hostage, holding them in hostage, and this is all on a Ring camera. And she only played chopped up a shorter version of me cussing to make me look bad and showing my older sister and showing everybody. But you didn't show my older son coming bumping shoulders with me and trying to be Mr. Tough Guy. Now, what if he would have brushed your shoulders, Kiki? Would you have stabbed him? You already held that gun 3 feet away, ready to shoot him down dead, okay? Because you don't care about your life and you're a maniac, you're a lunatic, okay? The Ring camera. She has a short recorded clip of me going off on them and but not being bumping. All that was recorded, and she just played a little chopped up. It's bad when somebody knows what's going on, and there's so much of a liar. She said if her children killed somebody, if they took somebody out, she would go and say that she committed the homicide, that she did it, so that they could go free. That's how crazy this woman was. Her children were her God, but her number one God was Raja. Okay, and we're not gonna get into the things that Raja did before he got cancer. And a monster, okay? And so out of love, we're gonna leave it alone, okay? But this is what happened. This is the last day of me leaving that house. That was it for life. And so I left, and that was it. And so this is where Larry Weathers and for 3 weeks after I left, she's calling this man who's living with his wife in Kentucky, Ebony. They would come over and visit several times. We'd go out to eat and everything. This is her cousin. And so 3 weeks after I left, she cannot be alone, a lunatic. And so she figures out that I'm not coming back. I'm never coming back. Okay? Smart girl. And so she calls her cousin who's still married to his wife, has him to come. He comes like 1 or 2 times. The second time he stays. Him with his opportunist self. Forgive me. He's an opportunist. Him as an opportunist, he saw to take advantage of the situation, to use her money to get at that bank account. Okay. And so after he locked it in and convinced her and tell her, you got to divorce Zachariah. It's got to stop. And his manipulation. 2 manipulators. Okay. She shaved her hair off after I left. Okay. 2 manipulators. And so he convinces her, you got to divorce him and everything. And so once Larry secured that.
And just to put this into context, I don't think Kiki is a very rich person, but one thing about it, Kiki probably will have to perform on the chitlin circuit for the rest of her life just to maintain the lifestyle and control that she has with her kids. And she likes to buy men as well, as you can see. She always gets with somebody who's not necessarily down in the dumps or a bum. They like compliment her, but like I said, she wants to maintain the control in the relationship. So she's gonna be performing on the chitlin circuit. She's been 9 months pregnant performing. She had the special needs child in the back on oxygen performing. Like she even got to the point where she can never not perform on that chitlin circuit, baby. For the rest of her days, she gonna be singing them same 4 songs that everybody know.
She was getting a divorce. The goal was this: is for Larry to get his divorce, her to get her divorce. She thought, I think he was already divorced, but he called Ebony after he was telling her he locked it in, asking his wife for a divorce. So this woman stole her cousin away from his wife and had her own cousin to come live with her, and they began an ancestral relationship, having sex and a sexual relationship, and then said they're going to start a church. Hopefully you guys can see that. It might be backward.
Huh? So you sleeping with your cousin who is married and you married. And the first thing y'all gonna do is start a church, and y'all wonder why people don't take Christians seriously. Okay, girl.
We're starting a church. Y'all guys can kind of put that together. I don't know if it's going to show up backwards on the screen. W Weathers, unapologetically E. Okay, this is his wife, Larry Weathers' wife. My sister, she was family, you know, because I was married into the family. Check this out, y'all. Watch this. Just bear with me.
This lady got a house of 11 children, and she done moved her second cousin in as her man.
What is God going to do to you? What is the Lord going to do to you? Hold on, I'm getting another. I'm getting some more. I kind of feel bad because this is the more interesting stuff. Okay. Let's go down here to the church. All right. Y'all bear with me now. Just bear with me. Well, let's bring this up. This is Larry. He had a widowmaker heart attack. His daddy had died, I think, back in 2020. 2 years later, he had the same thing his father died from. And I think he was in the pulpit when God struck him. He had a widowmaker heart attack. And Larry died. This guy, Kiki's cousin she was sleeping with, allegedly, died. Okay. And they had to resuscitate him on a Sunday, Larry. Okay. And God gave him another chance. And you mean to tell me this is how you repay God, Larry? This is how you repay God?
This is an urban
and you don't think
fiction
there's no hell? And you can just live any kind of way? Where do you think Hitler's at, Larry? Where do you think hell and have everybody look at you and maybe hopefully drive a Bentley, your ambitions, and have a secret lust for your own cousin anyway? Because you never would have done it if it wasn't there in the first place. You would have turned her down. But have a secret lust? Ugh. And this is all very embarrassing and disgusting for me ever to be connected to. But God has his reasons, and God has exposed you guys because God is cleaning house. He's cleaning house. Okay? Y'all give me a second. I know I'm all over the place here, but we just exposing it how we need to. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this video in a minute. It's almost an hour in. Okay. So let's quit beating around the bush. Larry, he couldn't take it anymore. The abuse and all that stuff, and she was having to pay for him. See, she having to buy him. Had to put the money on the nightstand. See, paying all the musicians, the church, and she and like dang it, where's the picture at? Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Hold up. Excuse me. And so, like the new guy, Mr. Anthony Hardaway, I'm just kidding, Mr. Anthony Whitehead, allegedly, you were paying your cousin, Mr. Larry Weathers, to sleep with you, to be there with you, to live with you. But guess what? He couldn't take it anymore. Yeah, Larry Weathers live Facebook. He should be deleting it in a little bit with all the stuff that's going to be coming out. He should be shutting his page down a little bit. So get it while you can if it's still up. This is the church, Sound Atlanta. Okay, allegedly. Sound Atlanta. And so Larry, after I left, okay, after I left, that relationship lasted. It ended until Mother's Day of 2024 is when Larry had enough. He left. Okay, they've been getting into it, all this stuff. Okay, And so Mother's Day.
Girl, you mean to tell me you couldn't even keep your own cousin? He don't even want to be your cousin no more, let alone your man.
2024. So I guess that was March. Yeah, March. The church, by the way, the church started in February, March, April. It ended at the end of April. April, March. So Larry left. He left around Mother's Day, I believe. She took a trip and he didn't go with her. She came back. His stuff was gone. He was gone. Okay. Allegedly, she was trying to have a baby with her own cousin, Larry. Yeah. The goal is for them to get their divorces and then get married as cousins. That's where this guy comes in. Okay. The bowling alley dude. Handsome guy. Okay. I'm not a hater. I was proud of her for being with someone that she's not related to. This is sick. Okay. But guess what, honey? All his other women, you didn't talk and find out? Let me throw this out here. If y'all know I'm a prophet. So if I get you this Rolls Royce Wraith, of course she ain't gonna put in his name. I don't think she that stupid. If I lease this Rolls Royce Wraith, it's yours as long as you stay here. Here's a question mark. What can I do to get you to stay? Money. Okay? I think y'all understand. So if you you got to pay to play. So while she had called me broke and talking about broke this and that, Larry and Mr. Anthony, she has been coming out of all kind of money to go for my cousin. This guy, the new guy, was introduced after Larry left. So right after Larry left, Freddie O introduced Anthony to her. A setup. Go get that money. And he's letting you know when y'all get into it, be careful, watch your mouth, because he saw the people that got money, the owners can become beggars, is what Mr. Anthony is saying. Watch yourself, humble yourself. Because he's seen people going to be rich and to be poor and be the workers, okay? And so a lot of women wondering what's going on because they got money invested in it, okay? I just did it this way, and if it was a little ghetto, forgive me. I had to go ahead and go there. Just tell it the best way I can. All right? Listen. Here's the point. What do you think God's going to do about this, Kiki? Forget Larry and Anthony sleeping with your cousin. What do you think God's going to do about this?
Okay. So that was the majority of all the juicy components from number 3, Zachariah David, and I'll show y'all his channel in case you want to go and follow his journey. Wow. I think inpatient admission is in order. I have so many questions for you, Mr. Zachariah Daring. I just have a million and one questions. Wow. I need to know, what are your concerns for your own 2 biological children, especially your last one who is nonverbal and has such life-limiting needs, and the fact that you're not able to regularly see your children? How can you ensure their safety with a mother who is around there pulling out weapons on everybody and is clearly an emotional wreck? I want to know what really played in and factored into you wanting to be in a romantic relationship with somebody who clearly can't maintain relationships, period, let alone relationships with men. I just want to know, what is the rationale behind some of this stuff, okay? So many questions, but y'all tell me what y'all think. So in a nutshell, KEKE WYATT lost another husband. Was trying to, her husband number 3 was trying to marry her cousin and make him husband number 4. And even though she struggled with the last pregnancy, number 11 wanted to have a child by her cousin. And has since moved on to yet another man. And yeah. Y'all tell me what y'all think. This has been your girl Marisa Star of Star TV. Yeah, I'm sure more to come on this story. I'll talk to y'all later.